Assalamualaikum and hello everyone, my name is Ismaya. Today I will talk about dyspraxia. Dyspraxia also is known as developmental coordination disorder, which is a condition where the neurological disorder that causes a motor skill and coordination difficulty. So people with dyspraxia often have a problem with the language and difficulty with the thought and perception. This is caused by a failure motor neurons in our brain to develop correctly. So the brain takes a longer time to process information which affect the body coordination of a person to perform some motor skills or planning activities. So dyspraxia also can be overlapped by another learning difficulty such as autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, and the person which have this learning difficulty also might lead to anxiety and also depression. So here are the red flags of children with dyspraxia according to their age. So first we see from the preschool age, which is 3 to 5 years old. So in the 3 to 5 years old, we can see their lateness in developmental milestone, which is they have difficulty to sitting down, walking, and climbing up and down the stairs. And then we'll see the middle school age, which is 5 to 12 years old, which is they shows the red flag, which is they're unable to remember or follow instruction and has very short attention span. Okay, so and then we move on to the high school age, which is 12 to 18 years old, which is they show a very poor sense of direction in which they continue to get lost around their school building, and they always avoid physical activities or sport. Okay, so in order to help children with dyspraxia to have a normal daily life like other children, early intervention program should be considered. So an early intervention program that could help dyspraxia children is occupational therapy and also perceptual motor training. An early OT intervention plans will help dyspraxia children to have better life to perform their daily activities. OT interventions mostly focus on their fine motor skills, bilateral coordination, sensory processing and response, motor planning, handwriting, and also self-help activity. And perceptual motor training is including during the OT session, such as they conduct an activity like dancing, hitting moving ball, which help in sensory and motor processing skill to synchronize with their body movement. Okay, and of course the intervention plan will be conducted according to the children requirements and needs. Then the other interventions program, which is speech therapy. Okay, children with dyspraxia might need speech therapy interventions as they have difficulty to process the language and they might have a poor articulations. This is because of the motor issue and also developmental impairments. Okay, so parents, the earlier the interventions, the better the performance of the children. And then, besides the early interventions, there are a few remedial strategies that I would suggest to help the children to cope with their daily life. Okay, for example, number one we can do is multisensory approach. Okay, multisensory approach can help the children to learn better. For example, we can playing songs, and then we do some movement to help them better in their processing, sensory, and also motor skills to be synchronized with the body movement. Okay, and then number two, as we know that children with dyspraxia might have difficulty to process information. So usually their brain actually work much more busier than a normal children. So it will be good to suggest the children to have a few breaks time while completing the tasks, such as a short walking activities. Okay, this will help to improve their concentrations when they come back to the table and continue with the task. Okay, and next one, parents and teachers can prepare a proper materials for children to do activities. For example, we want them to do writing activities. So parents and teachers actually can provide them a white pencils and a lined paper so that they can practice the writing skill in a better way. Okay, and last but not least, we can use visual cues. Okay, visual cues help them to memorize direction and also places. As I mentioned earlier, the red flag of dyspraxia can be seen if they keep on getting lost in their school every day. So this is because they cannot process the thought and they have the coordination difficulties. Pictures or map will help them to recognize directions better and memorize it. And then visual cue also will help children with dyspraxia to perform and complete the task in better way, in which the visual cue help them to illustrate the task better and keep them in a correct track to complete the task. Okay, so these are the strategies that parents and teachers can work on together in order to help the dyspraxia children either at school or at home. Okay, so parents or our viewers, dyspraxia is a lifelong learning difficulties. However, with our early interventions, the child able to cope with their functional lifestyle. Okay, so here I'll show you some of the example of well-known people that are diagnosed with the dyspraxia. For example, Daniel Radcliffe, Cara Delevingne, and Sir Richard Branson. So despite of having dyspraxia, they lead a very successful life. So parents or caregivers or teachers, if you have noticed that your children might have difficulty in their fine motor, gross motor, and even language processing, seek help for professional and get an early intervention for your children. It will have a lot of changes in their life. I hope this video will be beneficial for everyone. Till we meet again for our next video, stay safe everyone, and bye bye.